Hello, hi everyone. Today we are launching our 30 days ultimate plan for the GDPI VAT. So thank you Charu and Jai for joining us today. So we are going to invite people from various MB colleges to come and talk to you. So Charu is going to be our host going forward. So Charu, thank you very much for accepting this challenge. And in case you want to join our program, we have this G strategy program for the GDPI preparation. You can join our program for the basic or the advanced level. So whichever you wish to join. So today, Charu, I want to talk mainly about the VAT and the GDs. Both of you have been through various GDs and VATs. So all the tips and tricks, so ultimate guide for the students' point of view. If you wish, you can tell students to unmute themselves as well. So you fine with that? You want them to unmute as they go along?
Yes, yes, sir.
Perfect. So allow people to unmute. So that option I've clicked. So guys, if you can unmute yourself as you go along. So plus please behave decency. It'll take me, trust me, 1 second to remove you from the group, from the chat. You don't know how much power we have today over you people. So over to you, Charu. Let's start with all the tricks and trades of the VAT PI, VAT and the GDs. I like you to start with the introduction first, Jay.
So, hello everyone. So, I'm Jay Utkarsh. I have done my MBA from IIM Lucknow. And prior to my MBA, I had 3 years of experience working with PwC as a full stack developer, IT domain basically. Now, I'm working as an AVP technology with one of the UK based banks. So, happy to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Charu, you can take
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay, for sharing your introduction. So, we are really glad that you are here and you can share some of the insights with the students. So, we would want to understand more about your journey. What was your journey when you were preparing for GDPI VAT? What did you do? Because I think you had got most of the calls from top B schools, top IIMs, and you had converted most of your calls. So, what was your strategy, Jay?
So, my strategy, like, I had no strategy in beginning. It's all on a go. So, my first PI was I am Rotak, and they asked me bunch of questions I had no idea about. It was around finance. There were some new monetary policies that had come to being at that point in time. They asked me questions about that, and I had no idea. So basically, what I started doing was I started paying more attention to current affairs, what is going on. Like most of the time, I was looking at different YouTube videos, reading through newspapers in order to get myself acquainted with different things. Then I had my IIM Indore interview. And instead of asking current affairs, they decided to dive deep into my undergrad, which I had left 3.5 years ago prior to my interview day. So
Okay.
again, struggled. Somehow I was able to crack. I remember a few of the bits and I was able to diverge into like different topics around my work ex and around these things. So I was able to crack the interview. But then I was like, okay, I need to. So I have an EC background, as some of the engineers might call it one of the toughest branch to be in. But then I had to revise everything, revise some of the basic subjects that were there, basic electronics, data electronics, and all. Revise all of that. So then, I just went with the flow. And then my next interview was I am Lucknow, and I am Lucknow. I aced it, so I got I think it was around PI. I got around 33, 34, and that went pretty good. After that, I had Accelerate interview. Accelerate also I aced it. So that's how it was my journey. I spent a lot of time watching different like YouTube videos. So basically, what I followed videos of Dhruv Rathi, and
Okay.
then also I there were some other UPSC channels also which I followed. Then I also followed Khansar. So Khansar also puts in like good amount of videos around all basic current affair topics. So I followed these some of these YouTube channels very diligently. Then I also did a reading skills. So I had to like read multiple newspapers, which I was not very fond of, to be honest. But then I had to read multiple newspapers, get acquainted with different things that is going on in the world. And then one of the most important thing with these interviews is you have to like have an opinion about all of these things.
Yeah.
So what worked in my favor was I found a good group of friends to actually go and discuss these topics with. So that's how I prepared basically.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay. So, Jay, like, can you share the most common questions that were asked to you in the interview? Like, maybe your introduction by MBA, कैसे prepare किया आपने, उसके answers आपने mentor से review करवाए, क्या किया? थोड़ा बहुत, if you can help with the students so that the students can also follow the same strategy for their preparation.
So in my introduction itself, I had put in a lot of hooks.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the introduction that I had prepared at that time. So I started off ki, hello, I'm Jay Utkarsh. I am from Dhanbad, the city famous for its coal and gangs of Wasipur. Now this is the hook. I wanted people to ask questions about Gangs of Wasipur, which is one of my favorite films. So people ask questions on that. Then I decided to talk about some of the research publications. So I told them like I was actively involved into research during my undergrad days and published some research papers. Then there were questions around those research papers. Then I talked about my PwC experience, where yeah, I will come on to the VAT also. So I I decided to tell about my experience in PwC, what work I did, how it was. Then there were certain questions. So I worked a lot on AI. AI is one of the hot topics right now also. And there were a lot of questions that went into like were asked into AI, and I had to answer all of that around algorithms, around multiple things. So that's how it was for me. So I gave them a lot of hooks. Okay. And that's how it decided it like it created a flow for my interview. कि ठीक है, next questions ये आ सकते हैं. This is what I'm expecting. So that's
Okay.
what helped me.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jay, I also wanted to know about GDPI VAT because since today we are here with the students to tell them more information on the GDPI VAT. So, first of all, to tell you everyone, like earlier, the GD was a part of the admission process in most of the IIMs. But I think now most of the IIMs have replaced GD with the VAT. So, IIM Ahmedabad especially takes AWT. So I'll tell you what is AWT, what is VAT, what's the difference between AWT and VAT. And rest all the IIMs like IIM Lucknow, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, they have VAT component. Okay. So in most of the IIMs, if you see in their selection criteria, VAT is 10% of their overall selection criteria. So there are two phases. First is before you get the PI call. Second is after you get the PI call. Okay. Before you get the PI call, there are various components like what is your CAT score, what is your profile, okay, what's the work experience, diversity, all of those factors. Now, after you get your PI call, after that also your application, basically your profile and your PI score, your VAT score, and then some component of your CAT score also. Okay. So this VAT is 10% carrying 10% weightage in most of the IIMs, and that's why it is very, very important topic for all of you to understand what is the good strategy to write VAT. Okay. And VAT is not something which will eliminate you directly. It's a part of the selection criteria. तो VAT के basis पे आपका elimination नहीं होगा. Even if your VAT goes wrong, it's not like you will not get the chance to sit in the PI. It's not like that. You will still get the chance to sit in the PI, but since VAT का weightage 10% है, okay, तो वो बहुत ही important है 10% factor. So you have to score good in that 10% in order to make to the final admission. Okay. And this is something which will go forward also, not only in your admission, this GD, this will go forward to your placement interviews also. When you will be sitting for placement interviews, you will be sitting for GDs for all the companies, right? It's very important for you to understand how do you write VAT and how do you prepare for VAT. Abhi, since Jay is here and he has given lot of VATs for during his time when he was appearing for he was appearing for PI. So let's understand from Jay. How do you prepare? Like, how did you prepare, Jay, for VAT?
So again, so the same thing that I was doing for current affairs. So I used to read a lot of newspapers, random books, so as to have a proper command in English. So that was the basic strategy that I followed. So what I would do is I would pick up a random topic. So there are a lot of topics available on the internet. You can again Google it. So there are past year bad topics that are available. So I would pick one of these topics. I would write my answers. Like I'll write my VAT. I'll keep the time limit and everything in mind. That was my first attempt. Then what I would do is I would go search more on that topic. I'll Google it, discuss it with my friends, form some more opinions, get some data and insights into that topic, specific topic, and then like reattempt the VAT and then try to understand the difference, which one is better. So that's how like I would get a little more ideas. I would get a little more numbers. I would get a little more facts and figures to throw in between. So, my first VAT that I gave that was for IIM Indore. So before I get into the VAT questions, the VAT topic basically. So how many of you have seen Fast and Furious series or are a fan of Fast and Furious series? You can, if you can give some reaction or raise your thumbs up, something, raise your hands.
Maybe you can put in chat also, yes or no.
Fast and Furious fans, come on. Gotham. Who else? Who else? Come on. अरे आंसर करो यार. अच्छा, haven't watched. You should watch. So my I am Indore VAT topic was, are friends more important than distant relatives? And you know how I started my VAT, like the introduction. My first line was, I don't have friends, I got a family. That was my first line. So basically, to write any VAT, like you have to structure your thoughts in basically three things. First is the introduction, second is the main body, third is the conclusion. So what my strategy has been, introduction थोड़ा अच्छा बनाना है. It should be nice, it should be quirky, so that जो भी उसको पढ़े, they want to read more into it. So I started off with this. It's an opinion based VAT. Okay. So I think that you know that what are different types of VAT. So there are opinion based VATs, there are current affairs based VATs, then there are business logic based, like business and like business topics, etc. that you get into VAT, that you get for VAT. So I started off with this line. I structured my thoughts introduction by I said कि ठीक है, like nowadays mostly you live with friends, you move into different cities, you decide to live with friends, your office colleagues, etc., your college friends basically. And they are the ones who you reach out to in case you need anything. You don't go to distant relatives. And when you live together with a friend, you form that kind of bonding with them. So इस टाइप से मैंने अपना आंसर स्टार्ट किया. Then I also moved to the cons. ठीक है. And then finally I concluded कि yes, friends are more important. So that's how basically a simple gist of how you write a back. You structure your thoughts, create a good introduction, you dive into the main body, then you write the conclusion. अब इसमें क्या होता है कि you have limited time and you have limited space to write your answer. So give 1.5 minutes to first structure your thoughts. तो what I used to do is कि पेपर पे कहीं पे मतलब बैक साइड ऑफ द पेपर पे कहीं पे लिख लिया कि these are the different pointers I want to write. Then I rank these pointers कि यार ये मतलब पॉजिटिव में ये ऊपर आना चाहिए, ये नीचे आना चाहिए, दिस मेक्स मोर सेंस, दिस मेक्स लेस सेंस, इस टाइप से रैंक किया सो दैट आई पुट इन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स फर्स्ट. अगर लग रहा है कि वर्ड लिमिट एक्सीड कर जाएगा, देन आई पुट ओनली द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंटर्स. आई डोंट पुट इन द फिलर पॉइंटर्स. फिर अब जैसे दिस वाज एन ओपिनियन बेस्ड टॉपिक फॉर मी, सो इट्स अ गुड आइडिया टू elaborate both on the pros and cons of any opinion based topic. सो पहले मैंने सारे पॉजिटिव्स लिखे, फिर मैं सारे नेगेटिव्स लिखे. इससे क्या रहता है, मतलब अगर यू स्टार्ट जंपिंग फ्रॉम पॉजिटिव टू नेगेटिव अगेन टू पॉजिटिव, तो द आइडिया इज नॉट क्लियर. सो यू शुड शो अ क्लैरिटी ऑफ आइडिया इन योर फैट. So that's like that's how my VAT went. I got a call from Indore, converted. Then I was like, "ठीक है फिर." Then I got a call from Lucknow also, so went to Lucknow.
So
So that's how it
I'm
was.
sorry to cut you in. I would like to add a few points here. So what my recommendation is exactly what Jay said. Don't start writing immediately, because when you start writing, you always get new ideas. So 5 मिनट बाद एक और आइडिया आएगा, एक और आइडिया आएगा. So if you start writing from immediate start, you will be totally out of sync. So that, like I said, write down on the point, then make up your mind which point to start with, the important point first, then the second important. But my advice which I like to add here is the first paragraph should be the summary of everything. जय चारू, आपको क्या लगता है यार? इमेजिन द प्रोफेसर ऑफ योर कॉलेज एट आई एम लखनऊ और इवन आई एम अहमदाबाद. आपको लगता है कि दे आर एक्चुअली गोइंग टू रीड एवरीथिंग? मेरे को लगता नहीं यार. आई थिंक समरी व्यू इज मोर देन यार द पीपल हु हैव बीन एडवाइजिंग द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. You think they are going to read an article of a guy who is half their age, 21, 22, और उसको भी पता कि पब्लिक फेंक रही है, आधी चीजें पब्लिक फेंक रही है लंबी लंबी. तो आई बिलीव दैट इफ दे रीड द फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ दे गेट अ जिस्ट ऑफ एवरीथिंग. अ स्मार्ट पर्सन at their caliber will understand everything from the first paragraph. So even if they don't read, they will just review overall things, but they'll go deep down to first. So if the first paragraph can be summary of everything, I think that's the best you can do, because in today's generation, nobody have time to read everything. All the articles are moving to the summary first. So write on everything. Keep the first paragraph empty for the summary. If you're writing on paper, and if it's online, then obviously you can add the summary towards the end. How you feel about this, Jai Charu?
No,
Ah,
definitely, sir. I think it's very
yeah, it's
important
a
to
good.
set the introduction right. Like this
Correct.
will set up the context. Interviewer will understand ki what is your thought process, what all things you will talk about. Maybe you can just use a framework. I think we read a PESTEL framework in MBA, right? So
Exactly.
using that framework, you can cover different parts. You can set up the context in the introduction that I am going to cover all of these parts. So
Correct.
PESTEL is basically P is political, E is economical. So you think in all angles. Okay. So P is political, E is economical, S is social, T is technological, E is environmental, and L is legal. So you think in all of those directions. इंट्रोडक्शन में ही क्लियर कर दो कि मैं ये सारे एंगल्स के ऊपर डिस्कस करने वाला हूँ. ठीक है. तो इंटरव्यूअर विल अंडरस्टैंड, हुएवर इज रीडिंग इट विल अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या क्या आप करने वाले हो. रेस्ट आई थिंक जे यू कैन ऑल्सो शेयर सम ऑफ योर इनसाइट्स.
Yeah. So I have always believed in writing a very strong introduction, a quirky introduction. So to give a background, I used to write a lot. I have written a lot of blog posts and all. So मैं थोड़ा सा शो ऑफ करने भी लग जाता हूँ कभी कभी. So sometimes that happens, but you have to like structure your introduction well. It should be powerful enough कि लोग आगे जाके पढ़ें. If your introduction is not strong enough, then again people tend to lose interest. कोई आगे जाके उतना पढ़ेगा नहीं, and they'll give you some average marks and then they'll move ahead. क्योंकि यार बहुत एप्लीकेशन आ रहे हैं. लाइक लखनऊ में आई थिंक पीआई शॉर्टलिस्ट अराउंड 1000 से ऊपर रहता है. 1100 आई थिंक अराउंड रहता है, और इट कैन इवन बी मोर देन दैट. सो दैट्स हाउ इट इज ऑलवेज. तो इतना जाके कोई नहीं पढ़ेगा.
So, Jay, like what type of VAT topics do generally come? Like, can you give some idea ki this year what are the VAT topics which are expected and what types of VAT topics are there so that
Okay.
students can focus only on those topics especially.
So first one that I told you, which I discussed about, opinion based.
Okay.
इसमें क्या है कि देयर कैन बी ए डिफरेंट टॉपिक, देयर कैन बी डिफरेंट थिंग्स. सो फॉर एग्जांपल अभी मैंने बोला फ्रेंड्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन डिस्टेंट रिलेटिव्स. ठीक है. देयर कैन बी अदर टॉपिक्स. सो एक्चुअली आई वाज लुकिंग इनटू सम ऑफ द लिस्ट ऑफ टॉपिक्स दैट वर देयर in
Hmm.
previous years.
Yeah, we will share
So
it with students
yeah,
later. Maybe we
right.
can also share a slide with students later.
Okay. So there can be different topics such as, for example, work from home or work from office. I mean, this is a very hot debate that is going on because बहुत सारी companies अभी they are moving to complete work from office 5 days a week. So this is one very hot topic that is going on. फिर there are other things such as अभी like there was I think a lot of videos going on. So there were people going and asking like the random people in Mumbai whether they know where the Mahakumbh Mela is happening. They all knew where Coldplay concert is happening, but they didn't know where Mahakumbh Mela is happening. So इस पे भी मतलब there can be questions on that. Then there are current affairs topics. Current affairs में there are a lot of things going on. There was war, अभी रशिया यूक्रेन का war रहा. अभी Trump has become the president. He has introduced some new norms, which is going to change the business landscape altogether. बहुत मतलब drastic changes आ रहे हैं. There can be questions on that. Then there was the California fires. There can be questions on that. कि what was the impact of it. अभी बहुत ज्यादा इसका run like the market has gone down because of all of that. So there can be again questions, a derivation of all of these impacts, all the socioeconomic impacts, ki, like how this is affecting the market or why the economy has slowed down. So there can be a lot of things around this. Again, Mahakumbh Mela is also one important thing. There can be topics related to sports, Olympics, raha, India won the World Cup. There can be questions on that. Then there can be questions around business topics, such as like Elon Musk has been trying to do a lot of things. So इस पे हो सकता है. Then there are statements around 70 hours a week or 90 hours a week, eighth pay commission. Yeah. So there can be questions around these things. Then टैक्स का भी बहुत ज्यादा चल रहा है. देयर कैन बी क्वेश्चंस अराउंड टैक्स, जीएसटी. सो इसमें यू कैन गिव अ कंपैरिजन की क्या क्या मतलब डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में क्या चल रहा है. इज 18% जीएसटी और सो मच ऑफ टैक्स रेट इन इंडिया, इज इट feasible because the middle class is bearing all the burden. क्रिप्टो या क्रिप्टो लेकिन यार थोड़ा सा पुराना हो गया है. क्रिप्टो का हाइप थोड़ा चला गया है टू बी ऑनेस्ट. एक टाइम था when I was appearing, उस समय मेरे से यही क्वेश्चन पूछा था in my IIM Lucknow interview. So that time Elon Musk had announced that they'll accept crypto payments for Tesla. And मेरे IIM Lucknow में इंटरव्यू में उन्होंने पूछा था कि do you think this is a wise move. काफी डिस्कशन चला था इस पे. So ये रहा है हमेशा, ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ रहा है. So there can be topics on freedom of speech. अभी इसने बोला ना ट्रम्प ने कि after he became the president, so there would be freedom of speech. Everyone, there will be no censorship. There will be no restrictions on what you have to say. Twitter was made free for everyone. There are no moderations, nothing. So बहुत topics हो गए. Then there can be abstract topics. Abstract topics can be anything from the economic policies or the corporate tax policy, or basically it can be around anything. It can be around movies. It can be around different things such as 5G telecom, national education policy, the elections that happened in US. Then it can be around anything, absolutely anything, to be honest. ठीक है, हाँ, स्टॉक मार्केट बहुत कुछ होता है यार. द लिस्ट इज इनफाइनाइट. ठीक है. देन देयर कैन बी टॉपिक्स ऑन सोशल इश्यूज. सोशल इश्यूज पे भी आजकल बहुत कुछ चल रहा है. देयर आर डिस्कशंस. सो देयर आर डिस्कशंस अराउंड multiple things such as religion based politics that has come up in India or language based politics. So there can be questions around those. So but जब भी ऐसा कुछ क्वेश्चन आता है, be sure to give both side of the coins whenever there are any opinion based questions or there are topics that are controversial in nature. So like always try to give both sides of a coin so that they know that you are looking at it from all angles and not just a blind supporter of any one thing or something like that. So so I think that's it. I think I would have covered almost all different kinds of topics.
Yeah, correct. So I think अगर वैट के टॉपिक्स प्रिपेयर कर लो तो यू आर ऑल्सो प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर जीडी टॉपिक्स, राइट? बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर सेम ओनली इफ यू आर या
जीडी में बस यार दो चीजों का ध्यान रखना है. फर्स्ट इज डोंट बी एग्रेसिव. ठीक है. बहुत बार क्या होता है, आई हैव सीन इंस्टेंसेस वेयर द जीडी टर्न्स इनटू अ कंप्लीट फिश मार्केट और फिर पूरा पैनल डिस्कार्ड कर दिया जाता है. डोंट डू दिस. आई नो ये अपने हाथ में नहीं होता है बहुत बार, बट यू हैव टू ट्राई टू कंट्रोल. ठीक है. एंड यू हैव टू मेक एटलीस्ट 2 to 3 एंट्रीज इन दैट जीडी. And there should be solid points. It shouldn't be like if a person A is saying a point and then you are reiterating the same point. It shouldn't be that way.
yeah.
So
I think most like some people will tell you that you will always have to start the GD because that way you will get the brownie points. But see, students, that is not always the case. So I'll tell you, कि अगर आप जीडी स्टार्ट करते हो, इट्स डेफिनेटली अ गुड पॉइंट. एवरीबडी विल नोटिस यू, एवरीबडी विल लुक एट यू, इवन द इंटरव्यू पैनल विल also notice you because you are the one who has taken a stand and you are the bold one to start the GD. But let's say if you are not confident or maybe if you don't make a good start या फिर आप अलग ही डायरेक्शन को लेके चले गए जीडी में, so it can be very very negative also. So only if you are very very confident about the topic and you know what direction I should set for the GD, तभी आपको GD start करना चाहिए. Otherwise you can also definitely make a second move. इससे what profit you will or what benefit you will get is you will also understand what is the first person talking about. So if you don't have the proper idea or if you don't have the all the context about that topic, you will hear the thoughts of the first person and then you can add up on the points and then you can move a second entry.
बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि दैट यू गेट एन एब्स्ट्रैक्ट जीडी टॉपिक एंड आइडिया नहीं होता है कि व्हाट दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट.
Yeah.
So in one of my, so not my example, one of my friends GD, the topic was around herd community or herd economy. And जिस बंदे ने start किया, he had absolutely no idea what the topic meant. And then the panelist had to tell him कि okay bro, stop, this is not what the topic is about. So this can be very negative. Another safe bet can be that you conclude the GD. So
Yeah.
you take everyone else's point, you try to summarize it and try to form a logical conclusion. बहुत लोग ये भी करते हैं. It's a very good strategy to have. So you make one or two entries and then you try to conclude the GD. So this is also a good shot clearing the GD.
Concluding a GD will always create a lasting impression on the panel. It's always a very good strategy if you can conclude the GD. But conclusion में भी you have to take care of some points. जब आप conclude कर रहे हो तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप अपने ही thoughts बता दो कि this is what I think, these are in favor, these are against favor, and finally this is my opinion on this. So this is not a good conclusion of the GD. The good conclusion or the good summarization is you tell that this is what we discussed about today on that topic, what is everybody's point who is sitting on the table, and then finally what is the consensus on everybody came up if the GD came to a consensus. Okay, तो summarization means कि आपको सबके points summarize करने हैं जो जो GD में discuss हुए हैं और उसको एक concluding point पे end करना है. So that's how you summarize the GD. And अगर आप GD summarize करते हो, that will definitely create a good impression on the panel and you will get brownie points for summarizing the GD. And also, let's say the typical GD is 15 minutes, 10 people in the GD. So if you make 3 to 4 entries in the GD, that's good enough. ओके ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको 5-6 एंट्रीज करना है. ठीक है, इससे क्या होगा, इससे ये लगेगा कि यू आर नॉट गिविंग चांस टू अदर्स टू स्पीक. Okay, so there are various there are various capabilities which the panel is testing. First is teamwork skill. So later on, after completing your MBA, when you will go in the corporate environment, when you will join any company, all you need is good teamwork capability because you have to work with the team. You have to make discussions with the team and it has to be a healthy discussion. ठीक है, तो आप टीम के साथ कैसे काम कर पाते हो वो आपका जीडी में रिफ्लेक्ट होता है. आप दूसरों के पॉइंट सुनते हो या नहीं, या फिर सीधा एग्रेसिव टोन में चले जाते हो या फिर सीधा उसको डिस्कार्ड करने लग जाते हो. So that is not a good way. You listen to others' point and you add on to that point. You can say that, yeah, while I agree that this point can be correct, but I would also want to make another point. So this is how you can make your moves. You consider the other's opinion also and you give your own opinion as well. Yeah. So Jay, would you like to say anything about any more things about GD? Maybe any insights or anything?
See, yeah, the best way to prepare for both GD and VAT is to be aware of everything that is happening around you. बहुत सारी छोटी चीजें होती है ना जो हम मिस कर जाते हैं. And then there can be certain questions or certain opinions on that. So try for VAT, especially try to make it your own. ठीक है, even if you're adding facts and figures, you're putting in data from some other site or something, try to add your own flavor to it. सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि बस तुमने नेट से नंबर्स उठा के दे दिए. MBA is all about how you think on different angles, how you think on different angles, how you think on a specific topic, what kind of opinions do you form? Are you looking at that topic from a holistic point of view? So ये बहुत important रहता है. वैट में जैसे मैंने बताया कि there are opinion based questions you cover both the positives and negatives. Similar in GD also they can give you some opinionated topics. And if you feel कि जैसे टॉपिक आ गया cryptocurrency is good for the economy, ठीक है, किसी ने स्टार्ट किया, किसी ने पहला पॉइंट पॉजिटिव में बोला, दूसरा पॉइंट पॉजिटिव में आया, तीसरा पॉइंट पॉजिटिव में आया, सो पूरा पॉजिटिव में चल रहा है. बट इफ यू गो अहेड एंड एड अ नेगेटिव पॉइंट कि ओके ऑल दीज आर पॉजिटिव्स, बट आई फील दैट वी आल्सो नीड टू लुक एट द डिफरेंट साइड, एंड देन यू कैन मूव टू द नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स कि ठीक है क्रिप्टो करेंसीज का वी डोंट नो हु इज कंट्रोलिंग, इट्स नॉट कंट्रोल्ड, so there it can have some repercussions in the economy. So there can be multiple things, multiple angle to anything. And getting into an MBA, for getting into MBA, it's most important that you look at different angles, you look at different sides of the coin for any topic, for anything.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely true, Jay. And also, like, I also got a chance to sit in various GDs, not during the admission process, but during my placement process. So, placement mein most of the marketing companies will have GD as one of their round or one of their processes. So, usme, it's usually a panel of like 10 people. There are 10 people who are sitting in the GD, and our topic is given by the interviewer, and then students start making their moves. Usually there is a person who will always start the GD, and then the next one will come up, and then he will start throwing his own points. But interviewer will keep noting down everybody's points, and he will also notice ki are you agreeing to others points, or are you just you know you are speaking loudly, or how are you speaking, or how effectively you are communicating your point, and how much confident you are when you are saying your point. And when you are telling your point, is it one way point, as in is it only in favor, or is it against favor, or is it both? Okay, so these are the all the qualities that the interviewer is testing in you. Yes, Harshvardhan, if you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay, I have seen your question. If interviewer asks us about, say, topic A, do we give our genuine opinion on A, or we present good and bad side of A? Harshvardhan, it's always recommended to give both the good and bad side of A, as I was telling you earlier also. You can definitely say that I am more aligned towards maybe the good side or the bad side, or whatever side you are in. Okay, you can definitely say that I am aligned towards this. But yes, this is also another thing. Maybe this is also one more point I would like to say. So I will just give you an example. Okay, so there's a topic called was COVID-19. Um, was it a bad for our society, or is it it did some good things to our society as well? Now, most of the students who are sitting in the GD, they will start telling bad points about COVID-19. कि economy down चला गया, ये हो गया, सबके साथ ये हो गया, right? They will always give bad points, negative points about COVID-19. बट अगर आप कुछ पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स भी बताओगे कि टेक्नोलॉजी भी एडवांस हुआ, तो यू आर ब्रिंगिंग न्यू ओपिनियंस ऑन द टेबल, यू आर bringing healthy discussion on the table, you are taking the discussion to the other side, and that is very very important. तो डिस्कशन सिर्फ एक ही साइड पे अगर जा रहा है, और आप अगर दूसरी साइड का पॉइंट भी रखते हो, तो इट इज ऑलवेज वेरी गुड.
I have an example to add over here.
Yeah.
So it was from my MDI Gurgaon interview. Okay. So the question, so there was a very hot topic that time that was around farm laws. So the interviewer asked me, ki, is the Modi government implementing these farm laws to help his friends in the corporate sector like Adani and Ambani, etc. तो मैंने पूरा कोशिश किया that I present a balanced opinion. but the interviewers are very much fixated on this कि नहीं farm laws तो खराब ही है, there's nothing positive about it. I even tried quoting some instances in US and all where these laws were implemented, लेकिन उन्होंने नहीं सुना. Like they were very adamant on their own opinion that the farm laws are bad. ठीक है, I had to give in ultimately, but then I always made it a point that whenever I'm even agreeing to his point of view, I was always saying that okay, it is negative, but then there are some positive sides to it, and if implemented correctly, it can benefit our economy. ठीक है, तो ये आप चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट रहती है. अल्टीमेटली आई कन्वर्टेड एमडीआई. सो बहुत बार ना स्ट्रेस इंटरव्यू करने के लिए भी वो वैसा कर लेते हैं.
Yeah, correct. That's their strategy, in fact.
So one more question that has come up: any tips on how to better articulate our opinions on issues? यार issues के लिए, so one framework that Charu also shared was pestle framework. Pestle से क्या होता है कि you look at a issue from all angles: politically, economically, technologically, socially, environmentally, legally. So आप उसका 360 डिग्री व्यू बना लेते हो एक. Then you like when you're forming these views, write these points. ठीक है. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you rank these points in the order of importance. So, for example, COVID-19 का आ रहा है. COVID-19 had a lot of social and economic impact. ठीक है, इन्वायरमेंटली या लीगली उतना तो नहीं होगा उसका. टेक्नोलॉजिकल इम्पैक्ट भी बहुत ज्यादा आया. देयर वाज अ रैपिड एडवांसमेंट इन द टेक्नोलॉजी इन इंडिया. क्रिएटर इकोनॉमी बूस्ट हुआ कोविड 19 के कारण. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ क्रिएटर्स दैट केम अप. इंस्टा पे, टिकटॉक तो बैन हो गया था खैर. फिर यूट्यूब पे देयर आर लॉट ऑफ न्यू क्रिएटर्स हु केम अप, लॉट ऑफ गेमर्स हु केम अप. सो क्रिएटर इकोनॉमी गॉट बूस्टेड. सो अब अगर ये पॉइंट्स मैं लिख रहा हूँ, ठीक है, इफ आई हैव टू कवर द पॉजिटिव्स. पॉजिटिव में सबसे पहला तो यही कि टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट जो आया उस समय कोविड 19 में, किसी ने सोचा भी नहीं होगा कि इतना फास्ट मूव कर जाएगा सब कुछ क्लाउड. सो दिस वाज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट बूस्ट टू इंडियन कंपनीज, टू इंडियन इकोनॉमी. देन क्रिएटर इकोनॉमी का दैट कैन बी पॉइंट टू. देन one more point can be in from a social angle. People got reunited with their families. So मतलब इतने टाइम से बाहर रह रहे हैं, people got to spend time with their family members. But again, not that important. This is probably the third in my list of positives. नेगेटिव में अगर मैं देखूँ तो यार सोशल में लॉट ऑफ लाइव्स लॉस्ट, फैमिली मेंबर्स लॉस्ट. जो इकोनॉमी है, इकोनॉमी लाइक स्पेशली फॉर गिग वर्कर्स और फॉर ब्लू कॉलर वर्कर्स, उनकी हालत खराब हो गई थी. सो दिस इज अगेन वन वेरी नेगेटिव पॉइंट. So I'll again rank those in order कि मुझे पहले क्या लिखना है, बाद में क्या लिखना है. And then finally in my conclusion, I'll give a final verdict. Okay, I feel कि although advancements रहे, but the repercussions of COVID-19 were very huge, and no amount of technological advancements or creator economy or economic boost can compensate for that loss. There were human lives lost. So I can give a conclusion in this way. अबाउट बीइंग क्वर्की. यार क्वर्की मतलब टॉपिक्स देख के करना. ठीक है, मैंने बोल दिया टू स्टार्ट विद अ क्वर्की सेंटेंस और क्वर्की स्टेटमेंट. ऐसा मत कर देना यार कि देख कोविड 19 में लाइफ लॉस्ट एंड यू ट्राई टू बी क्वर्की अबाउट इट. सो बी अ लिटिल माइंडफुल ऑफ द टॉपिक दैट यू आर गेटिंग. मेरा जो टॉपिक था इट वाज दैट वे कि मैं क्वर्की होके बोल सकता था. सो दैट्स हाउ इट वाज, बट देन अगेन adhere to the topic that is there in hand. स्पॉट थिंकिंग यार, पेस्टल फ्रेमवर्क जैसे बताया, पेस्टल फ्रेमवर्क इज वन ऑफ द वेरी गुड फ्रेमवर्क्स टू कीप योर थॉट्स, like keep your thoughts around the topic, to get a 360-degree picture of that topic. So after the write is done, what I fumble doing यार, टाइम का जो रहता है ना. सो मैंने जैसे बताया कि सो इफ द वैट इज फॉर 30 minutes, ठीक है, हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल, अभी मुझे नहीं पता कितने मिनट्स का हो रहा है टू बी ऑनेस्ट. गिव 1.5 minutes to think, structure your thoughts. ठीक है. Then give 2 to 3 minutes for revising. उसके बाद अपना मतलब बीच में अपना कंटेंट लिखो. ठीक है. Even while writing the content, don't try to write very complex statements. So you may have a very good vocabulary, you may be very good in English, but वहां पे focus on writing small, short, simple statements. You don't want to confuse the readers. If I try to be Shashi Tharoor in this, ठीक है, नहीं सेंस बनेगा. यहाँ पे मुझे सिंपल यार सिंपल इंग्लिश ही लिखना है. यहाँ पे आई कांट ट्राई एंड राइट वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सेंटेंसेस, क्योंकि यार उनके पास उतना टाइम नहीं है. दे आर प्रॉब्ली गोइंग टू स्पेंड 1.5 minute रीडिंग द एंटायर वर्ड. एंड अगर वो सेम लाइन को समझने के लिए उनको 2 बार पढ़ना पड़ रहा है, दे वोंट रीड इट. तो सेंस नहीं बनता है कि तुम इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लिखो. Can we write our personal examples to support or oppose the topics? Does it add value, or I have to write in generic format? Yeah, if it's a opinion based topic, you can write your own examples, but then not too much. ऐसा नहीं कि फिर पूरा कहानी तुम्हारे खुद की एग्जाम्पल पे चल रहा है. It should be more around. It should be like 1 or 2 statements, not more than that. And if it's a general topic or a business based topic, then I would like ask you to refrain from quoting your personal examples or quoting your personal experiences over here.
And make sure, like, whenever you are writing the VAT now, each point, as in, let's say if you are talking in favor or if you're talking against it, you cover it in separate paragraphs. In the same paragraph, don't try to include both sides of it. That way, interviewer will get confused. So it's always recommended to have different paragraphs, and each paragraph covers only one side of the story. Don't bring all the multiple sides of the story into one paragraph. So the first one is introduction, the second one is body, and the last one is conclusion. In the body, try to have different paragraphs. I think there's one more question. Ajay, would you like to take that question?
So, how to best way to tackle if in case we have no idea about the VAT topic? Yeah, इस case में to be honest, there's not much that you can do. ठीक है, you have to like think on it. So for example, कुछ topic आ गया, like give me one topic, Charu.
Yeah, any random topic?
Yeah, maybe. So
What can
let's see
you
if
do
I
with
have.
a pencil, Jay? What all you can do with a pencil? So that's abstract topic.
Yeah, that's an abstract topic. So now if I pick up a pencil, so one obvious thing that comes into mind is writing.
Hmm.
ठीक है. Second is, so what I can think of it. So during my early school days, teachers punishment देते थे, हाथ के बीच में पेंसिल डाल के उसको दबा देते थे.
Correct.
This can be second thing that comes to my mind. Third thing is pencil fight. So pen fight खेलते थे वैसे, but there can be pencil fight also. ठीक
Yeah,
है. Fourth can be, there can be other games also that you can reinvent using pencil.
yeah.
ठीक है.
Correct. So
So
it's all about creativity. Abstract topics are is it's only about creativity. As much as you can, as much as you can randomly think about any particular topic. So this is just like brainstorming. How do you brainstorm when you are in the calls, in the meetings? So Abhi, let's say we are both of us are working in the corporate and we have lot of meetings in the day. So all of the meetings go about brainstorming different points, like bringing new points on the table. So this abstract topic is also the similar way. You have to bring new points on the table. You have to bring some random points also.
but just one thing, if it's a current affair topic and you don't know about it, then there's not much you can do, to be honest. So इसीलिए I advise you to like be aware of the different current affairs topic. ऐसा कुछ नहीं रहेगा यार कि that is very specific to any thing. ठीक है. So there can be a lot of current affairs that might be specific to a certain area or to a certain geography or to a certain political angle maybe, but then it won't be that specific. So they also know what kind of topics they are going to give. ऐसा नहीं रहता है. Consolidate content या data points पे examples पे you can work. Data point या जितना याद रह पाता है humanly, how much is it possible, you can focus on that. बहुत बार नहीं हो सकता है. जैसे for example, if someone asked you to write on COVID-19, you wouldn't know how many deaths were there in COVID-19, or what was the GDP during that time, or was there a certain decline in the economy? What's the percentage? No one would know, to be honest. Okay, there's not a UPSC prep that you are doing. Most important thing is कि what kind of opinions or what kind of knowledge do you have about that topic.
I think there is a question from one student asking about how should we answer weakness as an answer in a PI. So we will have a separate session for HR based questions. As Rao sir showed you our 30-day plan, we will take session on the HR and situation based questions as well. Probably that session will be, I think, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we will cover that session and we will tell you how to answer that strengths and weakness based question. So today's session is just to understand on the GD and VAT. So if you have any questions related to GD and VAT, maybe you can ask some more questions. I have a question. How did you prepare for physics, Harsh? Okay. Yes, Harsh, I would definitely like to share these insights with you. But again, we also have sessions reserved for how to prepare for the undergrad subjects. Okay, so we will have different kind of sessions on this as well. One session will be on science, wherein I will cover physics, chemistry, and maths. Second section session will be for commerce students, and similarly for BBA students also we will have one more session. So in all of those sessions, I will share the important questions and important strategies with you. How can you prepare for it? So we will have a dedicated session on this as well, Harsh.
So Charu Saloni has asked if you can show the 30-day plan again. So
Yeah,
probably you can
sure.
share
We
your
can show
screen or
the, yeah,
yeah.
just give me a moment. I will take a moment to share my screen.
Meanwhile, I'll answer the other two questions.
Yeah.
Best way to find an entry point in an aggressive group. Yeah, if the group is aggressive, it becomes very difficult. I know that. But again, try not to cut anyone. Okay, so usually what happens if the group becomes too aggressive, the moderator tries to like bring some decency to the group, to be honest. वो बोल देंगे कि यार this is not how the way it works. And if they see that you're not speaking, वो बोलेंगे कि like you should add some points or you try to make an entry. ठीक है. Don't interrupt them. Interrupting anyone doesn't look good, to be honest. SPJ ka yaar, when I appeared, there was, I don't remember if there was a case study or not, to be honest. I don't remember yaar. I don't think मेरे time में था case study. How to be confident and overcome shyness. Yeah, talk to people. So the best way to prepare for GDPI or BAT or anything is to form a group. ठीक है, I had a group of 4 people. So I went to IIM Lucknow. Two of them, no, sorry, one of them went to SPJMR. One of them went to Accelerate. The fourth one went to IIM Mumbai. So we had a group of 4 people and we tried to prepare together. We used to take PIs of each other. We used to prepare topics for VAT, compare our answers, compare our pointers. Then we also used to prepare for current affairs. So, for example, every day we would read about one topic and then go and discuss about that topic and see if there are any more pointers that we might have missed. Then we would form our opinions. So if I'm watching some videos of Dhruv Rathi or some videos of Khan sir, then I would have certain opinions around those. So again, that's how it is always. ठीक है, ग्रुप में करो, बात करो लोगों से, and you get an idea as to how things would move forward.
So, Jay, if you have a moment, is it possible for you to share that 30-day plan? I have shared it with you on a personal message. Actually, I am facing some technical issues and not able to share it on my screen. So, if you
Charu,
can try.
probably,
Hmm.
yeah, probably you can ask sir itself to share it in the group chat itself. I
Okay.
think that would be
Fine.
available to everyone.
We will share with the students later. But right now, if you maybe can show for a minute if you are able to share your screen. You
Oh no,
can
actually I'm
otherwise.
joined from my phone, so
Okay, okay. Fine. So, do you have any more questions from the students regarding? GDWAT.
So just my final bit of advice. All the best to everyone. ठीक है, डरना नहीं है, प्रिपेयर करते जाना, इट्स अ गुड प्रोसेस. जब बाद में लेके फिर लुक बैक एट इट ना, बहुत मजा आएगा. ठीक है, बहुत एंजॉय करोगे ये पीरियड भी. आई नो डर रहता है, यू टेंड टू थिंक कि यार क्या होगा, अगर नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा. ठीक है, ये डर आता है हमेशा, बट जस्ट बी कॉन्फिडेंट, गो विद द फ्लो, एंड जो भी होगा यार अच्छे से ही होगा. डोंट लूज कॉन्फिडेंस, डोंट लूज हार्ट. ऐसा होता है कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आज मैंने बताया कि मेरा फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू वाज आई एम रोहतक. दे आस्क्ड सम रैंडम क्वेश्चंस एंड नहीं पता था मुझे कुछ भी. माय इंटरव्यू वाज टोटली, मतलब आई हैड नथिंग टू आंसर दैट इंटरव्यू. तो हो जाता है, दैट हैपेंस. देन फिर बाकी इंटरव्यूज अच्छे गए. आई इवन डिड नॉट क्लियर माई SPJMR इंटरव्यू. रैंडम क्वेश्चंस आ गए थे. आई हैड गॉट अ प्रोफाइल बेस्ड शॉर्टलिस्ट फॉर IT. रैंडम क्वेश्चंस आ गए, couldn't clear. But then I used that as a learning experience, and then I went on to prepare for my other interviews, and I ended up cracking almost everything. I had calls from Lucknow, Indore, converted everything, converted Lucknow, converted Indore, converted Excelrai, converted SJM SOM, converted NITI. So I had calls like and converted almost all of them then. So take it as a learning experience. ऐसा मत करना यार कि एक कॉल आया और the interview didn't go well and then फिर you start thinking कि यार अच्छा अब क्या होगा. So don't lose heart. Okay, be confident and enjoy the process.
Yeah. I think we have taken most of the questions, and thank you so much for your time, Jay. And thank you so much to all the students for joining this session. We will definitely try to share as much insights with you as we can. Whatever knowledge and information and guidance, whatever we can share with you, we would definitely be happy to share with you. Yeah. Any concluding thoughts, Jay? Otherwise, we would just wrap up this call.
Nothing else from my side. So
Okay.
all the best, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.